daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Southampton, part of the Global Sports Podcast Network. My name is Greg Elliott, and as always today, joined by my good friend, a wonderful co-host, Zach Finch. How you doing, mate? You alright?
Well, like the middle of the week, mate, I am fair to middling. So yeah. Whenever this episode comes out, fair to middling. There you go. Oh.
That's it. Look, it's the middle of the week, and it's strange because we've got a week with no midweek fixtures, which, you know, leaves us feeling almost bereft of proper football. There's some Premier League action in the midweek this week, but who cares about that? That's not a good league, is it?
I don't know. We keep an eye on Wolves, mate. They might beat our record.
Yeah, well, that is interesting. Doing worse at this point than we were last season at this point, right? So
turns out if you keep selling your best players, you end up in the same position we did. I do really feel really bad for them, right? Like, I feel like hoping you're going to replace Cunha with the striker you already have, and then bringing in now a championship manager who has just immediately lost. Yeah. Who knows? What a poison chalice. I feel really bad about that. But yeah, because of that, Greg, you're right. I won't be watching any of the Premier League action.
No,
Championship.
We thought we would take a look ahead to the fixtures that are upcoming. You know, it's a busy period of time. 6 games in December,
Woo!
8 games in the next 30 days. It is busy, and there's a lot of football coming up. So we thought we'd take this opportunity of this little gap before it all goes crazy and sort of look ahead of what we can expect and where we're at and what we're expecting to be the more difficult games and go from there. Obviously, at time of recording, we've had no confirmation. I don't know even if we had official confirmation from the club that Tondo was going to be taking charge of the last 3 games, but it was definitely reported widely. We haven't heard anything from the club at all, but so we're going to go on the basis that either Tondo has stayed in charge and things stay the same, or we've got an excellent replacement who kicks straight into gear and things stay the same, and assess it based off of that. But I think,
according to Alfie House, Dragan has got one person advising him that we need championship experience. And they talked about it on TSP that, like, the old guard are very much behind a manager of experience. But I just don't understand how you say no to 4 wins and a loss, right? Like, I tried to kind of point this out the other day. If you did not know who Tondo Eckert was and you said to a player, okay, or you said to the fans, right, Will Still is going to leave, you are going to win 4 of the next games and lose 1. Are you going to take that manager? I think most people would have bitten off your hand to take that manager.
Yeah,
so I don't really.
Yeah, I fully agree. And I will say that he's no longer a manager of no championship experience. I'd say he's got 5 pretty good games under his belt. So,
yeah, on top of that, I can understand why people are slightly confused about his comments about Joe Eribo. Maybe he's not in a place where he's ready to criticise him. I tend to see these kind of things as actions speak louder than words. It'll be interesting to see if he gets in the squad anymore and he gets in the squad for the next couple of games, because in regards to that, you know, we've learned a lot, especially since doing this podcast, how often press conferences were just not like a waste of time, but there's so much smoke and mirrors, right? Like, Russell Martin was very much, if he told you that a player that was injured was guaranteed to start at the weekend, they're not going to be back in the squad, right? Yeah. Ivan Juric, it was blood out of a stone. Simon Rusk almost trying to line himself up for the job that inevitably he didn't get. Will Still answering almost a bit too honestly. And so far, Eckert's been sort of a mix of all of them, right? Where some of his press conferences are about 5 minutes flat. Other times he's had to defend and answer some of the strangest questions in regards to, like, oh, so do you want the job? It's like, of course he does. He just can't say that. Like, there's no. So yeah, I think regardless of who is in charge over these games, mate, like, I don't know how much it's going to massively change, because I don't think anyone can come in with a sweeping new system. They're still going to have the same players. You know, the only thing that ever.
Importantly, right, the targets stay the same, because the target at this point just realistically probably needs to be to try and win every game. But what I think we should do is see how realistic that is. So I mean, let's get straight into it, mate. Our upcoming game at the weekend at home to Birmingham, and I mean, we were talking about yesterday in our championship roundup, Birmingham and their sort of fair to middling form in the middle of the table at the moment. So it's going to be it's not going to be an easy game. They're not going to be a pushover, but do you think we've got what it takes to push past them as like the starting point?
They're coming to us, and their away form's been dire, right? They've scored like 3 or more goals at home, and we don't quite know the result of them playing Watford yet. But it's not really relevant. Their away form has been shocking, and I think that we just have to capitalise on that, and kind of go into that game with how we've played at home the last couple of times, right? Like they're wanting St Mary's to be better, right? Because from a Sports Republic's perspective as well, like people will spend more and have more of a good old time if they're coming to see a win and not coming to just see dross week in, week out. And we've shown that we have a squad capable of that. And, I think they really, really need to push to continue it. So I'm hoping that, we can get something from Birmingham and hopefully, capitalise on the fact that their away form isn't very good. Because if we can, we can actually get the goals that would be... If Cienza's back as well, that's going to be a huge difference too, right?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. That'll make a big difference. And I think that it's a game that we should be, like you say, targeting a win for and going for the jugular, because you're right, that home form is going to become such an important thing for us. It's been such a hard place to play for such a long time because of how rubbish we've been. So, so hopefully we can push on, especially not least because 3 days later we have our, second visit from a Midlands team to St Mary's. Because West Brom come and play on Tuesday night. So, I mean, that's another game where we'll be pushing for a win, right? We have to be... These are the teams in the mid-table that if we're realistically wanting to push for promotion now, and that's still the target, these are teams we need to be
beating. Is it the first time we've played them this season? I can't remember. Yeah, I was going to say. So the last time we played them would have been the playoff final where we absolutely demolished them. Right, yeah. So they're going to have that to remember us by when they come back. And some things have changed, not as much as we probably would have liked. So realistically, we just got to kind of push on from that. But I can see that being a good game. Like, we've taken one of their better players in Fellows, and I feel like a lot of West Brom fans kind of feel like we've had their pants down for the amount of money we got him for, right? And he eventually started to become good. And by eventually, I mean that like he seems to have really adapted to the position he's playing in. He's been a lot of the creative force alongside Cienza. Realistically, he's one of the had some of the best assists and best balls into the box. I can't remember which game it was. I think it might have been the Leicester game where you're talking about. I don't think he missed a single ball into the box. Right, every time he went for it, he got it in. So having him go back to play against his former side that up and down, they kind of have sort of the last couple of seasons really gone for the playoffs, but that isn't necessarily where they are now. We are similar to them in the table currently, so we're just going to have to kind of treat them like a team that are in the middle of the table. But I think it has the potential for, if we get a good result against Birmingham and then another good result against them, like to get back into those sort of winning ways and show that Millwall's a bit of a one-off, and by one-off we mean we last minute lost to a team that are third in the table, that are there on merit, who have a lot of physicality whilst we're dealing with a lot of injuries, right? I think that's the other thing that we kind of ignore when we talked about our post-match review against Millwall. It's like, we would have preferred to have had Flynn Downs. We'd have preferred to have had Shea Charles in the middle as well. We'd have preferred to have Cienza there. We'd have preferred to not have to bring Jay Robinson off for an unfit Joe Eribo. We would have not wanted to have had to brought off a youth player who's only had one senior start, full start previously, and a sub appearance, for a veteran who has not played in XY amount of time. So I think that it kind of would put to bed this notion that we are not where we should be on merit, right? Because I think we are starting to claw our way back up the table slowly but surely. And I think, we should be at least targeting 6 points in the next 2 matches. I don't know how you feel about that. But like,
No, I
we
fully
should be
agree, and
beating both of those teams, right?
Yeah, I fully agree, and I'm going to come on to my point actually about that the game directly after that and how we need to approach that as a group. But let's have a little break first and hear a message from our partners at Bioniq.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimize your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now. Your body.
Okay, mate, we are back. So straight after that, 3 games in 7 days. They come thick and fast. The game on Saturday is Norwich. Now, based on form and positioning, this is another team that, this is a team that is easy to almost look past and expect to win, right? And so this is where the interesting point becomes, how do you structure your teams through the week to handle that load of those 3 games in 7 days? What's the priority there? Because do you want to play your best teams to, play in these games that we should be winning but are going to be difficult, like Birmingham and West Brom, and then, have a weakened team against Norwich because that should be enough to get past? Or are we at the point where we need to be, hammering these teams that we are expecting a more comfortable win from? And so, we end up rotating for, I guess, the West Brom game of the 3 because it's the midweek one. It's the interesting thought path as you sort of step back and take the wider look at these games in the groups that are coming up. What's the best way to approach all 3 of those games to maximise the points?
Well, we've got potentially players coming back from injury. I don't know how quickly they're going to be back from injury, but we've already established that Romeo is a little bit way off. We've got a full week of rest and training before the game at the weekend against Birmingham, right? And then obviously West Brom will come thick and fast. But you're right; they're probably going to approach it as a block of at least sort of 3 games that we need to have plans for each of them. Norwich are a difficult one, and are going to be a difficult one to prepare for because again, they've been pretty dire most of the season. Liam Manning is gone. Clement didn't get the immediate reaction, but they have won their last game, so we don't really know necessarily. I'm sure that Eckert will do his due diligence, and we need to almost remove the fact that we beat them once already because we beat them in the cup and we also beat them under a completely different manager. So it is going to be difficult to figure that one out, and figure out what personnel will be fit. We don't know what the next couple of games will. I always, whenever we start previewing too far away, I always kind of worry about injury concerns because we didn't think we were going to lose, Shea Charles and Stewart and everybody in such quick successions, right? And that game we lost Shea Charles, we also lost Archer, and then obviously we got battered, and that turned out to what be Wilson was final game. So a lot has changed since then as well. So when we look forward to these games, it's kind of I find that really difficult. All I know is that Norwich will probably require a little bit more preparation than the others because of the fact that it's going to be a bit of a enigma until we see how they work out. If they lose their next 2 games, maybe they'll treat it different. I don't know.
But to compress it and try and think about it in that sort of block mentality, what's the acceptable outcome of those 3 games?
7.
6 points? 7 points? Yeah?
I would say where we are in the table and where we want to be in the table, I don't know if 6 does it. Maybe, right. But at the same time, I think that that's realistic because, again, it's the Championship. We're not quite at the level that we want to be. We're still growing to that level. And again, it's night and day, right? It's been a week and a half or 2 weeks. And what we're talking about now is us shooting back up the table, where previously we were flirting with relegation, and realistically we were talking, maybe 4 points would have been the best outcome for these 3 games. So it's difficult, but so long as they can manage things correctly and we don't get any sort of stark injuries, it should be, in my opinion, we should be aiming for 9. 7 would be kind of okay, I wouldn't really
aiming
like
for 9,
6.
expecting at least 6.
Yeah,
Is that
I
a
think
fair
that's
way to put
probably
it?
realistic. Yeah.
All right, mate. Then, the second part of the month, it really gets tasty.
Gets dicey.
We get a midweek off, right? So we go from Saturday to Saturday, and on the 20th of December, we welcome Coventry City to St Mary's. Now, that's going to be a challenge, right?
Yeah,
There's no two ways about it.
I ain't too confident about it. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like, even now, a couple of games off, you've seen what Coventry City are doing this season. Sure, why not break their streak against us? But they broke their streak and then came back tenfold, right? You know, their goal difference is plus 32, mate. Like that, when you think about it in that way, it's nuts. They have really just putting teams to the absolute sword. Like they looked at the playoffs last year when we don't want to do this again, right? And admittedly, they lost to Sunderland, right, who are now actually in the Premier League. So like, sure, whatever, doing really well in the Premier League. So it makes it even more kind of stark how good they are. And Lampard's had time to build this team into whatever it is, and who knows how they'll do next season. But they are someone that I'm kind of worried about us playing. And like, what are we going to do? Well, I don't think we do defensive football anymore. Do we do 10 men behind? Doesn't feel like the way. We're not going to massively rapidly change everything.
No,
I also don't consider us to be able to outscore them either. So I kind of see like if we lose to them, it's not the end of the world. But also, it's like beginning of the season. That's kind of where we wanted to be, right?
Yeah,
this isn't where
100%.
though.
Look, yeah, it's going to be a tricky day at the office, and it's probably going to be the first game of the season where I don't put us as favourites going in, right? Like it's going to be really difficult. Yeah, it's not. But I mean, look, like you say, we get 9 points from the 3 games before that, and all of a sudden we're coming in with a head of steam again. And it only takes a couple of slip ups, and maybe they don't get all 3 of those games. And I mean, football's a funny thing; anything can happen. It's a scary one, though. It is definitely the scariest fixture of the month.
If we were defeated, I wouldn't be upset, and I think that shows you how good Coventry have been. And I don't think that we should necessarily accept that. But at the same time, it's like when City came to play against us and Arsenal came to play against us. Like, I love the idea that, we should realistically be going out there and beating this team. But like, it's the reality of the situation at the moment is that Coventry City are a much better outfit than us. And as much as that's hard to hear, it's the reality of the situation. So if they come to us and we manage to get a point away from it, I think that'd be really, really good. If we get a win, absolutely fantastic. If we lose, it's kind of what I'd expect. But no, I'm sorry for being pessimistic, but what I like to think of at this point is it's right, actually a bit more realistic.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, look, it's a tricky game. It's going to be a big test, and yeah, I mean, it'd be a big win. Put it that way, if we got it. Right, let's have another little break before we head into the Crimbo Limbo period and hear a message from our partners at Zencastr. Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spend a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. And Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description and learn more about Zencastr. All right, mate. We head into a period of time where time isn't real as it occurs. Boxing Day, where my wife was devastated to not be part of the Boxing Day family tradition of heading to St Mary's for a game. And we face Oxford away. I mean, this is another one where we should just be putting them away, right? We just need to be burying them, getting it done early, job done, rest the players for the next game a couple of days later.
You're right. They've been beaten by some teams, but in other teams they've managed to get away with some results. Beat Ipswich the other week. They managed to draw against Middlesbrough. They also managed to draw against Millwall. So they are doing better against sort of quote unquote bigger sides. Does that they beat Bristol, they drew with Leicester, they were beat by Sheffield United, but like they're doing better than I'd expect them to, and I worry that game will be treated like we should just put them to the sword, and then they end up beating us and upset us, especially from a mentality point of view. If we lose to Coventry, we don't quite recover. I can see that. I can see that happening, mate. But I'd also like to think that maybe that's kind of how I felt about Swansea two years ago, and then we came out and just destroyed them on Boxing Day, right? Was it Boxing Day we destroyed Swansea?
It was Boxing Day. One of my favourite memories of my kids.
Is the word destroyed all right for me to use in regards to that game?
I think it's fine. As long as
okay, good. Okay, good.
Look, it was great. I had to move from my season ticket seats and move somewhere slightly quieter in the stadium because we had the whole family with us, and what it eventually led to was just my kids leading the normally slightly quieter part of the stadium into a fairly raucous amount of chanting. So
you're right, bringing them up in chapel is not exactly what you've done, mate. That's why you've brought them up in Northern, where I still remember the story of you telling me, hey, you do realise that's the rowdy part of the stadium, and you being like, it'll be good for them.
Look, they will not fit in anywhere else. And then we head from Boxing Day, swift, sharp coming of games. Friday is Boxing Day, heading into Monday, the 29th, as we have the reverse fixture from earlier in the month, and we play Birmingham at Birmingham. So
yeah, everything's starting to swap around now, isn't it? So we're starting to get those second fixtures where we can look back at the fixture, but it's a complete waste of time because it was under a different manager with probably a different set of players and whatever.
It's not going to really be the case in this one though, where it's so tight between when we play them both games. It's almost like two legs of a semi-final, right? Like you're going to know pretty much exactly what you're expecting to come up against, and I don't know if that always makes it easier or if it makes it harder, right?
I don't know if that's true, because injuries at this point could be playing a factor for both teams, right? Because again, you're talking, we've fired through so many quick games, forgetting that all of this is taking place in under a month. This is under from today before like the 30th. That's how many of these all these games are just appearing out of nowhere.
It's going to be 27 days time.
So whilst we should be able to, we have seen what happened with us missing, Cienza, and how much of a problem that was. And even, I don't know if it was necessarily down to Flynn Downs, but, we saw what happened at Millwall by not having that creative outlet, and we do not know what our team is going to look like at that point. That's what I mean, trying to predict so far off, because this conversation we're having now, couple of months ago, or even a month and a half ago, it contained Ross Stewart as the answer to all our goal scoring problems. Before we eventually remembered that we could just pass the ball to Adam Armstrong, we just can't head it to him or kick it into the sky to him, right? So I worry that we're going to pick up an injury. I don't want to forebode it, but it does feel to me like by that point, we're either going to have everybody back, and we're going to have so many good rotation options. Might even end up seeing a Dozy at this point, mate, if he ends up getting back on the training ground. But
that'd be good.
So yeah, we might have something different to offer. Who knows? But yeah, obviously with a 8:15 kickoff, so that's kind of them to make us have to record at a ridiculously late night during the winter months.
It's fun, mate. It's all part of the fun. Look, it's going to be in a period of time where time isn't real anyway. It doesn't matter.
Crimbo Limbo isn't real. We're aware of this.
No one exists in the normal time frame at that period of time. We're going to be so full of gammon and mince pies. It's going to be crazy. And then rounding out that week, technically in the new year, but still literally Monday to Thursday on New Year's Day, home to Millwall. So that's
it's not
the reverse fixture.
And it's not the Den. I reckon it will probably change the way they are a little bit. It's always fun when they have an away game, right? And we'll have to see how that works out. But considering we've seen how they have played, and we've, if Eckert's in charge at that point, he will have learned a lesson, quite a valuable one, playing against them, I think, especially with the physicality around them. And so, the reverse fixture, again, it will really depend on how we're doing at that point. I think if we picked up some points against sort of like Oxford and Birmingham stuff, we go into that game. I don't know how the rest of their season's looking at that point. But again, like at the moment, still have to treat them of where they are on merit. And it'll probably be quite a tough game, especially if it's the last sort of run of a extremely busy run of games.
Well, it's not even the last one, because actually it then goes on that's the Thursday, and then on the Sunday we play Middlesbrough away as well. So the month's really like packed together in a fascinating way, because you've got that block of 3 at the start, and then we've got Norwich and Coventry as like a block of 2, but with a nice gap in the middle between them. And then a block of 4 games, Oxford, Birmingham, Millwall and Middlesbrough, across the course of 9 days. So that's a lot of football in 9 days.
That is, and also we're playing one team twice in what I consider to be quite short succession. Really, I don't know quite how that's worked out, but that'll either be a good thing if we manage to get the win on Saturday, or a learning opportunity if we don't, and hopefully we can go at them again. But it's going to be, to take your phrase, mate, an interesting turn of events, right? Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to just having so much football to watch after what felt like a drought over the summer of like no football whatsoever, and just us going, there's been there's transfer news. And at the moment,
we get back to, we'll be back to that by the end of this run of football, right? Transfer window just around the corner. So,
but transfer window whilst we're playing is a bit different to
crazy.
Just watching websites update on an almost daily basis. So, a daily basis. We do a daily podcast. You're aware of this. We're literally called the Daily Southampton.
Right. So if we take that block of 3 at the start and call that hopefully 9, maybe 6.
Yep.
Then you've got Coventry as the middle layer of this Big Mac, the middle layer of bread.
Which I could put as 0. I genuinely am like, if we lose it, we lose it. I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be cross about it.
4 games in 9 days, realistically, knowing how much of a physical challenge that is, relevant of who we're playing. What's a reasonable outcome from 4 games in 9 days? Another 6?
9.
It
depends. It depends. You're asking me what the target should be. At least 9. Reasonable wouldn't be too mad. 7. I still think we should not lose 2 of those games. We should at least draw one of them.
All right.
So
I'd take it. Obviously, 8 games for me. You know that my target would be
win every single one of them by at least 3 goals.
Yeah, 24 points. Yeah.
Well, at least 2 goals, because obviously we're always going to concede, but you need to make sure we outscore the opponent. So I get that.
But look, that's the month. What an exciting month of Saints football we've got coming up. I can't wait. 2 trips to St Mary's in 4 days next week is already. Well, I'm excited, put it that way. Who doesn't love it?
Especially where we feel like they're very winnable games, right? So it should be actually a nice time to go. It's not like last year where it was like, yay, 2 trips to St Mary's in 4 days where we're going to watch us hopefully not get beaten by more than 4 goals. And usually that wasn't the case.
One of those winnable games against the Midlands teams comes with more pride on the line a little bit closer.
For you, I guess that's also true.
Right, well, that's what we've got to look forward to this month, and I cannot wait. That's all we've got time for today. Zach, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you everybody for listening. Let us know in the comments or on socials. 8 games in 30 days. How many points are we coming away with from them? What's the magic number? Let us know. We love to hear from you. We're on all the socials. You can let us know on them. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, X, Blue Sky, all of them.
That's all of them.
Yeah, everywhere.
That's the ones we're on.
Look us up. We are GSPN Southampton everywhere, and we love hearing from you. So let us know. We want to know what that magic tally is that we should be aiming for. We will be back tomorrow, as is the nature of our daily show, to talk more about Saints and all the good stuff that is coming. But until then, everyone, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you then.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.